Content warning. The stories and themes shared throughout this podcast may contain themes that can be distressing for you. If needed, please pause and do what you need to do to take care of yourself. If needed, please reach out to a mental health professional for support.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Resilient AF with Blair and Alana, but no Alana today, just me. Solo, here I am. What the heck is going on? First of all, Alana is recovering from surgery. We are sending her healing vibes. Let's see. I asked her like exactly what I want to update you on. So, let me open up my phone and give you an update from Alana before we dive into all the things that I want to share with you. It's all very exciting. So she's recovering from surgery. She's off work for a few weeks. She had a hysteroscopy tubal dye and exploratory lap. She's okay. Each day a bit better, mostly uncomfortable, and it's the hardest part is showering without getting her incisions wet. And she's also really sad to not be at Pilates. I think that's one of the most things she was most sad about. And also having to miss a friend's wedding. She says, being off is weird. I've just never had nothing to do. First few days, I couldn't focus on anything, but now I can focus on TV, so that's nice to binge and turn my brain off and have visitors. She's more social now than usual. In fact, I even said to her, you've had more visitors in one day than you do usually all month. So it's nice to see her Winnipeg community rallying around her, family and friends. She also like blew up as a survivor influencer right before her surgery, so I'm looking forward to those coming back, those TikToks. But she had some stuff that went viral. She's been watching Survivor since the beginning. She's like a Survivor super fan, had a Survivor themed bat mitzvah, has had a couple cameos from Survivor contestants, like has a lot of really, really weird memorabilia. So I love this for her that she's a Survivor influencer. She wants to be invited to the season 50 live finale. So if you're listening and you have connections, keep that in mind. Alana tried for 40, but then COVID happened. Update on her cats. Lenny's being Lenny and Molly's being Molly. They're taking great care of her. And if anyone has any TV show recommendations, please reach out to her. You can message us on Instagram or you can comment under this. But, and her contact information is in the show notes. So she has 2 more weeks off. Then she's coming to see me, and it's going to be really exciting. I guess a little update on what's going on in my life. Okay, a couple things. One, I recently was in Utah speaking at an event called Mission Driven, and this is Teddy wants to say hi. Could you say hi in the microphone for those who can't see us? Well, my 4-month-old kitten, Teddy. Okay, let's go back. Let's go back. Um, Richard Branson was speaking at this event in Utah called Mission Driven, and I was invited to speak, and I was the opening keynote, and it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I met some really cool people from all around the world, and to be able to speak to humans and thought leaders of that caliber was absolutely a privilege. And I learned a lot. And it was really cool meeting Richard Branson. I had 30 seconds with him, so I gave him one of our books. Can you imagine if Richard Branson was reading your story of resilience? That's the type of like work that we do is we try to get our books into the hands of people who are connected and influential. And I got some takeaways from Richard's Q&A about showing up, being philanthropic, being kind, creating a really great work culture. I don't feel like anything was like super big and like full of epiphanies, but it was really cool to know that we are on the right track with the Global Resilience Project and with everything that we're doing. And I think that like one of the other big takeaways is that we're all just people. And yes, he's a billionaire and he's like had a lot of privilege because of his success. But essentially, like, you don't need to be a billionaire to be a good human. Like, you don't need to be a billionaire to be a good human. Like, you can do good. You don't even need money to be a good human. Like, you can be kind. You can give back your time. You can volunteer. You can donate. You can, show up. You can support the people in your life. Like, there's lots you can do to be a good human. So that was really awesome. It was really cool to be in Salt Lake. They have this thing in Salt Lake, not Salt Lake, where was it called? Park City on Sundays, a market called Park Silly. And I went down there and I met this really, really cool mother-son. duo, and they have an oracle deck called the Sacred Web, and they gifted me this, and it was just, it's a really beautiful deck. It's gender neutral. I've been working with it. They're tarot cards. So really grateful for that. And then, yeah, there's a couple other things that came out of that, but I'm going to save that for later because I'm still doing some testing on a product. But I think I found like a solution or like a really helpful tool to like my ongoing plantar fasciitis. And like I live in chronic pain, and this has helped me. So I'm gonna wait till I do another update with Alana, and we'll talk about that. The other thing is for me, I'm doing something kind of out of my comfort zone, but it's in my comfort zone. So it's kind of weird. But I love speaking. I'm a motivational speaker. I've been speaking since I started my business 17 years ago, right? I used to do workshops on social media and thought leadership. Since starting the Global Resilience Project, I've been speaking about grief and resilience and how to strengthen your resilience muscle using neuroscience. And I love it. I love being on my podcast. I love being a guest on other people's podcasts, online summits, real life summits, on stages. And I will travel around the world to speak. I will stop and speak to you at a coffee shop. Like, I want to help people. And I was just at this really great event. My friend Renee put it on, and it was in Kelowna called the Pink Skirt Project. And she had a bunch of speakers, and it was targeted to women entrepreneurs. And the last two speakers both talked about, and side note, they're both speakers. Like they both have podcasts and they both are speakers on stages. They're very well known. They both spoke about how they went live every single day on social media. It's like a tool that I have, it's a stage in my pocket. And I was like, I'm going to do that. Every day is too much for me. I've tried to do the mornings, but my mornings kind of shift and my mornings are really sacred to me. And so I thought, why not habit stack? And so we know that I practice gratitude every day at 9 p.m. And so I've decided to go live to do my gratitude. Now, the question was, where do I go live? Where do I go live and do this, and for how long? And last week I did some testing, and I couldn't figure out how to go live on Instagram and TikTok at the same time. And they're very different audiences. Like I have a lot of followers on Instagram, but not everyone comes online. But TikTok, most people that come, I don't know because they push you out to the world of TikTok. Very different companies, very different algorithms. And so I went live on both last week, and that's just not sustainable. So every week I'll just put out a schedule of what day I'm going to go live and where. And I'm going to do my best to adhere to it. You know, life happens. So last night I was live on Instagram, and then tonight I'll be live on TikTok. And so I share on my story where I'm going to go. But I'm Blair from Blairland on TikTok and Instagram. I go live around 8:45 p.m. Pacific if I'm in the Pacific time zone, but I think it's going to change depending on my activities. Like next week I have a couple concerts, probably won't go live. Um, so it was cool. Like, so last night I forgot that I committed to going live and like got ready to go into bed. And then I was like, oh, wait, I got to go live. So I sat up in the kitchen and it was a thunderstorm. And I chatted about my weekend, which I'm going to give you a recap on in a second. And I went live. And it's actually really fun. Like, more people are starting to come. My sister has been the most consistent on both platforms. I have some people who keep coming back as repeat visitors, repeat watchers. I then will post either snippets or the full event, the full live on my feed, sharing what I'm grateful for from the past 24 hours. Because this gratitude practice that I've been doing since 2016. I preach what I practice. And it to me is such an important tool because if you practice gratitude every single day at the exact same time, and you do this for at least 21 days, and you list three things you're grateful for at the exact same at the same time every day, and in more detail as possible, your brain starts to rewire to see the world a more positive way. So why not biohack your brain? Why not do something that you can, you know, easily do? When I heard this, I set an alarm in my phone. I was like, 9 p.m. sounds like the perfect time to do this because it's the end of my day. I can reflect on what I'm grateful for. And I've been doing it almost every single day since. My mom did it on her deathbed. We did it the day my dad died. I did it, you know, when Shane was in the hospital. We did it every night in the hospital. Me, his parents, Shane, and his roommate, Gord, for 3 weeks. Like, there really is no excuse because there's always something to be grateful for. And sometimes it's okay if your day is really bad and you just reflect on like you're grateful that the day is over, you're grateful for hot coffee, you know, you're grateful for your bed, right? So cheers. I'm drinking coffee for those of you who can't see. Mm. So That's been really like humbling. I don't like, as you can see if you're watching this, like I don't necessarily like have to put on a full set of makeup. Like last night my hair was wet and I was in a robe. I show up as I am. I don't want to pretend I'm someone I'm not. And on that note, this weekend I was someone I am, very much so. So we have a spot at a lake. We have a trailer parked out there. And Shane went away this weekend for like one of his first vacations in a very long time with a best friend. And it was my first time going to the lake on my own. I went with Teddy, but she's useless in the department of setting up and taking down. So there's lots to know because this trailer is off the grid. There's no cell service, no electricity, no Wi-Fi. There are there is water, there's sewer. So there's tanks, there's buttons, there's things, knobs to turn on, propane, generator, this generator, that generator, batteries, switches. And I actually did like mostly really good setting it up and taking it down. And like I checked in with Shane because we do have Wi-Fi. And like I've been doing this enough with him. I took notes last time, I made videos and the things I wasn't sure of. There was one thing I wasn't sure of. I called him and it was fine. So it was a really interesting weekend because I did something I've never done before. I forgot my meds in Kamloops. Holy fuck. I've never forgot all my meds and my vitamins. So I take in the morning, I take an ADHD pill, and that really helps my depression. Because I have depression, I also take SSRIs. I take a Zoloft. I take progesterone pills, which helps me with my hormones because I have endometriosis. And then I also have another medication. Actually, I'm on Ozempic, and I forgot that. I was supposed to take that shot on Friday. And then I also take a bunch of different vitamins. I take a multivitamin. I have oil oregano with me. I have high histamine, so I often always have allergy pills. Luckily, I keep some at the lake because I break out in hives. Like I sometimes wake up just head to toe covered in hives, and I can't get that under control. And I take magnesium at night, ashwagandha. So I have like a regime. And I've never like raw dogged life like this. Once I had all my meds except for my ADHD pills. I had to have 3 pills last for like 2.5 weeks with my sister on a grief week and business trip, and that was terrible. And I was like, that's never happening again. But really having none of my meds and coming off like feeling extremely exhausted from travel and work and a really busy winter and spring, I felt very low and very depleted. So, my goal this weekend was to finish my book proposal. I'm working on a prescriptive memoir on resilience, very exciting stuff based on some of the research I found and tools and whatnot. And so, the ADHD pills help me be productive and like give me like the incentive to work. So, I can say that I definitely didn't get as much done as I wanted to get done with the book. I got a lot done, but not as much. But I did be very productive in the sense that like I watched all of season 2 of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders show. Very like so I feel very accomplished there. And did you watch it? And then I started You, Me, and Her, I think it's called. And there's a whole bunch of other things I wanted to watch. And so some of the work I was doing on it was just like I had to pull data and stuff like that. I did while watching. Some of it I got really like in like a good groove on it. Shut Netflix off and did it. It was a rainier weekend, not a lot of sun. I did get out and walked around on the beach and in the forest, and my neighbors were there, and I spent some time with them by the fire. And Teddy was with me, and it was great. I did some word searches. I like to just look at the window and watch nature and sit outside and watch nature. And I did that. It was really, really great. I slept all 3 nights, 10 to 12 hours. I had a nap every day for a few hours. I actually feel rejuvenated and rested, which is absolutely amazing. Um, and I wouldn't have been able to nap so much if I had my ADHD pills because I can't really nap on them. So it is what it is. I will never let that happen again. I can't believe I even let that happen, but that was probably a sign of like my sheer exhaustion. Um, and so, yeah, I raw dogged my weekend. I was there Thursday to Sunday. Sunday morning, I woke up and I packed up and came home. I was like ready for my meds, ready to get back to medication. And so I'm back on my meds, people. Um, Also, what else is going on? Okay, a couple cool things. We are featured in Psychology Today. My friend Stephanie wrote about how millennials are reshaping like grief and giving, basically like we are okay to admit that we're griefy and like how we talk about it. And me being a vintage millennial who has experienced a lot of grief, different types of grief, I was honored that Stephanie wanted to share this. So I'll put the link to the article in the show notes. It's all over our social media. It's going to go on our website, my personal website, theglobalresilienceproject.com. But like to be in psychology today, to me is like a business person being featured in Forbes. Like for me, there's a few publications that I would love my work, my research, our community to be featured in. Psychology Today was the top one. And like just so honored that Stephanie saw the value in what we're doing and saw that what we're building. And to me, it just kind of gave me more fuel to keep going because I often reflect on what I'm doing and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to pave the way and sometimes it's thankless work and I know I'm making a difference. And I also have this imposter syndrome that sneaks in. So it was just really what I needed to see this weekend and read people's positive feedback about it. So really, really proud of our community. Really, really grateful to Stephanie. She's going to be in one of our upcoming books. Speaking of books, we have two books right now that are accepting authors, stories of resilience. One of them is Resilient A.F, Skin Deep Stories. This is featuring tattoos, your tattoos, and the stories of resilience that go behind them. We've only a few spots left in that book. That book is coming out in December, which means story submissions are due soon because we have a whole editing and design process. So if you're interested in that, please, please reach out, Blair at blairkaplan.ca, or send me a message on Instagram, either to Global Resilience Community or Blair from Blairland. Let's get on a call, see if this is right for you. And then the second book, which is Resilient AF, Stories of Resilience, Volume 3. This is any story of resilience. Again, we're filling that one up pretty fast as well. That one's coming out at the beginning of 2026. And we've made the decision that these are going to be the last two books that we are doing in this format at this time because we have some other things we are working on and we're going to regroup, but the price may go up, the format is going to change, how we do these books in the future might completely shift. Might completely shift. So if you've been thinking about it, you want to share your story with our community in this format. We want to share your story. We want to put you up on a billboard in Times Square. We want to hand your books out to celebrities and the media at gifting lounges, people like Richard Branson, people that are actors in movies and TV shows and agents and people who write articles like Stephanie for Psychology Today. So this is your chance. And this is our official announcement that these are going to be the last two books in this format for a while. And we're going to regroup and come back. We're going to come back differently. And we have other projects we're working on, and we're going to share all of that when it's time. So I'm just looking at my notes because I don't want to miss anything. So yes, we want you to be in these books. And so if you've been thinking about it, this is your chance in this format because yeah, we need to take a break because putting out 5 books in like 3 years or 5 books in a few years. Well, actually, and then plus I wrote a book and I'm working on another book. Like that's a lot. And just so you know, like with these books, like we create this safe space for people to share their stories of resilience because there's a whole science behind it. There's a science behind it. Sharing your story helps you heal. It helps you process your emotions. But also, when someone else reads your story, their brain synchronizes with yours. And what happens is it is this phenomenon called neural coupling. And this is needed to build empathy. And empathy is needed for emotional resilience. It also helps other people get through their challenges. This is one of their biggest formats on how we help people to strengthen their resilience muscles. And so, sharing your story is so important. And that's why we exist. That's why we do these books. And so, is it time? Is it time for you to share your story in one of our books? Like, we would love for you to do that. So, I think that's pretty good. Join me live. I think you've heard enough. I think that's a lot with a huge laundry list of cool stuff that has happened. We have some other cool things that are happening. A documentary we're going to be featured in. We're filming in the winter. We're working on this other project that I don't want to jinx, but like it's visual and it's fun because it's Alana and I are having a lot of fun working on it. Um, and we are going to be launching in September a gratitude challenge, a free gratitude challenge, which is super exciting. And so we're going to start talking more about that over the summer. And this gratitude challenge is something to help you build new habits and rewire your brain. And it's because it's a tool that we want to involve you with using and help you see the world in a more positive way and help you to strengthen your resilience muscle. So at the time of recording this, I started it at like 5:20 a.m. or whatever. It's now 5:43. I'm going to go for a hike and I'm going to breathe in the forest, breathe in nature, listen to the birds, watch the sun come up, and just remember it's okay to not be okay. You don't have to go through life alone. You don't have to go through challenges alone. You have us, the Global Resilience Project. You will be okay. Just keep going, my friend. Just keep on going. And you don't have to raw dog life. You can get medication, you can have mental health support, and you have us, the Global Resilience Project. And friends, just remember you are resilient AF. That's a wrap for another episode of Resilient AF with Blair and Alana. And thank you for listening. Are you feeling inspired to bounce forward?
Let's connect at theglobalresilienceproject.com, where you can read many stories of resilience, buy our books, shop our clothing line, learn more about how to strengthen your resilience muscle, be empowered, and more.
Remember, friends, you are Resilient AF.